All right, in this lesson, we're going to tackle why your solos are boring and how we can add life to them right away. The main problem with boring solos is that you are not saying anything. You're not really connected with the music that you're playing. And it does tend to just sort of be like 5/8, 5/7, 5/7, right? Charts, scales, numbers, strings. We want to create a little bit more phrasing in there. And where we're usually starting is a place of not wanting negative space, right? Not wanting pauses, and not wanting repetition. And the thing is, both of those are going to help us create something that is more enjoyable to listen. And once we start connecting to the music, really is delivering like a conversation, like a musical conversation. So if I have this, right, I have no pauses, all right, and no repetition. Kind of going up and down, right? And this is a problem that a lot of people have, especially right away. And they say, well, I don't understand. It just sounds like I'm going up and down scales. And the thing is, you are just going up and down scales. That's what we're doing when we're practicing our scales, right? One direction, maybe back now. I mean, the only thing you're really doing is sort of switching directions. Right? Kind of going up and back, but nothing interesting is happening. Let's just take a couple notes and add a little bit of a pause in between. Already, we're somewhere, right? Already, we're creating a little bit of predictability, and then the goal is to break away from that predictability. But if we're not building some sense of predictability in our phrasing and in our pauses, then we're not really getting anywhere, right? We're just, like I said, up and down scales. Not really predictable because it's a streamline, right? These are a little bit more predictable because it's this, and then, oh, look, it happened again. And, oh, look, it happened again. This is just, there's no predictability just because it's one streamline. It hasn't ended yet. You know, we have nothing to predict what's to come from what just happened. It's just the same thing kind of continuing. So we want to get away from that. And just breaking things up into sections and phrases is such a great way to do that. You know, so within this A minor pentatonic now, I can create a little bit of repetition. Now I'm sort of getting somewhere. This is really, really nice, all right? When we hear our favorite guitar player sort of it sounds like they're just noodling and noodling and noodling. And what they're doing is they're taking these phrases and stringing them together so there's no pauses in. And this is akin to a language. If I'm just speaking a language out, like if I go to Spain and I just hear somebody talking, it sounds like they're talking so fast and I can't quite get it and blah, 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 and I'm not hearing all of the pauses, right? They're not really putting those pauses in there. But in English, I can do the same thing because we know the language. We're hearing each phrase for what it is. And that's sort of what's happening there. We want to step back and be able to build our own phrases, okay? So we're sort of hitting on repetition. We're hitting on phrases. A great exercise is put on a backing track or a metronome, pick 3, 4, 5 notes, whatever it is, and I want you to play those 3, 4, or 5 notes and repeat them exactly the same. Then just come up with a new phrase and repeat that. So it's just like... Right, and what this is doing is it's getting us really, really good at listening to what it is that we just played. This is so crucial to making really great, memorable guitar solos, right? We want to constantly be listening to what it was that we just said or just played so that we can play the next thing that is related to it, right? And direct repetition is the best way to dive into that muscle, right? That muscle memory of like never forgetting what you just played. This it doesn't matter what I just played, it doesn't matter what I'm going to play, right? I'm just rambling now. Now, once that starts to settle in, what you're going to notice is it's maintaining a level of boredom, right? So that's just like the first level. We need to get past that a little bit. And how we're actually going to do it is rhythmically, not adding more notes, not adding modes, nothing crazy. Rhythm. All right, so if I have something, if I just split my measure into 8 notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and my numbers are my strong beats, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? If I stay on those, it's going to sound incredibly predictable and stable. If I play just on the ands, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, it's going to sound just as predictable, but incredibly unstable. And we want to be able to mix the two. What's going to make our solos really interesting, our phrases really interesting, is coming up with a rhythm that mixes strong beats and weak beats at the same time. Now, this can be difficult. So you can write it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on a piece of paper and just mark below where you want to hit them, okay? 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Right? Not too difficult. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. All right. Just to get an idea of how you want to play it. We start adding that into these phrases instead of, if we're doing like repetition, it's going to start getting really boring. We're sticking just to like that's actually both strong beats and weak beats, but we're not taking either one of them away. If I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm starting to mix a couple of the strong beats and a couple of the weak beats, and that's what's going to make it interesting. Because that is the next level up, I'm going to want to do that and then repeat it directly. Do that and then repeat it directly. Again, this is training our ear and sort of that muscle of being like, oh, I know exactly what I just played. I know exactly what I just played. And all of this can be done over and over. Extending the length of your phrases is fantastic, right? That's where it'll start getting a little bit more interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Just something as simple as that. That is an exercise you can do forever. All right, and just making those phrases a little bit more and more complex. Already, we're taking something so simple and making it more interesting. I want you to attach yourself a little bit to these phrases, right? And almost think of it lyrically, like you're saying something with each phrase. But don't detach and just think of everything as numbers on strings, all right? And just get a little bit more into it. It's really, really great to start doing that. It's what happens when we listen to our favorite guitar players, is they are saying something musically and we are receiving that something. So this is a really interesting way to start this process. I'm going to go into the next step. Now, I want to pause here because everything that I did, you can do over and over, right? Pause the video, put a backing track on, and just really, really get down to it. And starting as simply as you possibly can, okay? If any of this is too much, just take 2 strings of your pentatonic. All right. It can be that easy at first. All right, I want you guys to start as simply as you need to. All right, as you start to extend, you'll notice where you start forgetting, right? And you're not repeating exactly the same, and that's a cool place to be, right? Oh, this was easy, and then I pushed a little, and that got hard, and I'm gonna go back to a little bit easier and a little harder, and then you're gonna start pushing that line a little bit further of what's easy and what's hard. Now, the next stage in all this, because this is a little bit different than the direct repetition, is can I take something simple, play it slightly differently, play it slightly differently from that, play it slightly differently from that and see where it takes me. All right. So if I have something like this, again, just in my A minor pentatonic, if I have something as simple as, all right, direct repetition. What if I change? What if I change rhythmically? Okay, so I have, that sounds pretty interesting in the fact that we have a phrase, we have almost the same phrase. So we're keeping a little bit of this familiarity, so it's not just a random tangent and rambling, you know, right? Just the random rambling, but I'm making it different enough to take some of the predictability away from the listener, right? Right, I could do, all right, direct repetition right after that. It's pretty similar. It's just going up in this direction instead of, all right, so all of these like slight little changes, adding an extra note, taking a note away, right? I changed that, held that longer note, and then ended on a different note, okay? Just added a note at the end. I want you to try all of these things. Adding a note or taking a note away, changing the rhythm simply by playing one or two notes longer or shorter, all right? And then where some of those notes fall rhythmically. Because if I do have, right, those first two hits, 1, 2, what if I did, right, extend it and just moving those from the beat that they were on a little further, a little back, and taking the same phrase and just making something different out of it. I do promise you, as much as you're sort of at this point probably just wanting to get into speed and playing faster and doing whatever, that this is how you set yourself up for playing fast, cool, amazing solos the correct way, right? Because you're learning this language of music and you're learning how to deliver it rather than just like, all right, I need more, you know, positions. Give me modes. Right, and it's just, give me sweep picking, whatever it is. You're just trying to jam a whole bunch of stuff in, and you haven't really been saying anything. This is the great way to start, right? Start saying anything. If you need any help, comment below. If you do feel like you're ready to take your guitar solos from sort of an intermediate level to a professional level, we do have a link below to work with us. It's a 12-week course. We'll get you to a professional level. The results are guaranteed. Other than that, comment below and leave some questions. Right? Is there something that you want me to clarify? I can most certainly do it. And I appreciate you watching the video. Take care.